All right, now we're on. Welcome back to Blackbird News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? Greetings, salutations, and such. Today we're live on Rumble instead of Telegram. So if anybody wants to watch on Rumble, I guess we'll try out Rumble again for a while. Not streaming from a Rumble studio. So we're live on YouTube, Rumble, and on X. If you want to watch on X, you can watch on X. We're up on X. I see the stream. And I think I can get chats from Rumble. What's up, Bella? Denver? Greetings. I can get chats on Rumble too, so that's helpful. Pretty sure if you want to chat it up with me on Rumble, I will see your chats here in the StreamYard, so I can interact with you there. As far as X goes, I don't know. They make it a little more complicated to do the chats. I don't know. A lot of fakeness out there, you know. Let's start from the beginning, I guess. Remember the Ivanpah solar plant that was featured in the motion picture Planet of the Humans? Well, they talked about it. And it is scheduled to shut down after 11 years online. The Ivanpah solar facility in California is shutting down next year. The $2 billion blight, built on 3,500 pristine acres of Mojave Desert, has been responsible for incinerating more than 60,000 birds, created twice the pollution of a typical power plant. I don't know about that. I'm not sure where they're getting these numbers, but has killed a lot of birds. Created 86 jobs instead of the promised 2,000. And will abandon 173,500 thermal collectors in the environment they were trying to save. And that is probably true. I don't know what kind of cleanup they're going to do there. Or if they're going to try and reclaim some of those panels. They're going to have to reclaim them quick because scavengers are going to come in and get those things, as long as they're not guarded. I imagine that's going to be easy pickings Sorry you guys couldn't see that. Anyways, we'll play this video.
Why did the government fund a 5-square-mile laser death ray that kills 6,000 birds a year? That is Ivanpah, a solar farm in the Mojave Desert. And the bird apocalypse isn't even the biggest part of this boondoggle. So 15 years ago, Google, NRG Energy, and BrightSource Energy got together for this idea. They would sell solar power to PG&E and California Edison until 2039. But they needed funding. So Bechtel, who's a big government contractor, helped them get a $1.6 billion loan from the Department of Energy. See all those mirrors? Yeah, there's 350,000 of them, and each one is the size of a garage door. They reflect sunlight onto boilers 450 feet high as part of the solar thermal process. The project promised to create 1,000 construction jobs and power 140,000 homes. And that didn't happen. In theory, everyone would benefit, from workers and local communities to politicians pushing green energy. Now, the facility opened in 2014, and it didn't take long to realize that mirrors attract bugs and birds eat bugs, and mirrors themselves get really hot. The reflected rays at Ivanpah literally singed birds to death mid-air, leaving clouds of smoke called streamers. The project was also terrible for desert tortoises and destroyed irreplaceable pristine desert habitat. But the real problem was about power. Ivanpah only operated at half capacity. Apparently, officials hadn't considered things like weather or equipment challenges impacting energy production. You know, like they should have. NRG said it could take years for Ivanpah to hit its annual energy goals. In the meantime, they'd use natural gas to operate the boilers. So much so that they even needed state approval to increase the gas limit. Turns out the sun didn't shine as much as everyone hoped, and the facility could no longer compete with newer, more efficient technology. Today, Ivanpah employs 61 people, but soon it will be 0. PG&E ended their contract 15 years early, and Ivanpah will close 2 of its 3 units by 2026. For the American taxpayers, it's Solyndra 2.0. So I guess this is good news for the birds. What do you think?
Yeah, a scam indeed. Bella said, oh yeah, they're mirrors, collectors. Some commentators are using Ivanpah to make the case that renewable energy projects should not receive government money. A view that appears to fit with new administration. Well, I don't know. It's debatable. It sucks that, it sucks that these issues are so siloed, so partisan. Right, there's a whole bunch of people that back Trump that are just like, yeah, screw this renewable energy stuff. However, a lot of the renewable energy stuff is just as destructive, non-renewable, doesn't help the planet, doesn't help climate change if you're concerned about climate change. So it's those things can get lost in the nuance. But yeah, it's adding fuel to the fire for the people that hate all things renewable. I don't know. I think done correctly, I think done in the right way, I think renewable energy could be really helpful. I'm not, I don't think that all renewable energy is a terrible idea, but Jevons paradox and all that, it's not necessarily going to save the planet. And, baseline renewable energy is seen as a way to continue the destruction of the planet, right? We need more energy, period. Renewable energy is not put forth as a way to lessen our energy, right? Like if you want to save the planet, you would say, well, we should use some renewable energy and we should also lessen our energy demand, period. We should lessen, the amount of things we consume. We should let, our impact on the resources of the planet. Right. So that's, that would be a logical, sensible, conscious way to promote and or use renewable energy in tandem with other things in order to not destroy the planet. But no, renewable energy is used as a road to keep on expanding the human experiment as it is now. So I don't know. It is a failure and it is a scam, and it was, not a good idea and probably not a good project as far as conservation goes. And unfortunately, Republicans are going to use that kind of stuff. What are you going to do? I think that's what you get for not from promoting it in the wrong way. All the green entrepreneurs, the green billionaires, are presenting renewable energy in the worst possible way. They're presenting it in a way that isn't really sustainable as far as like a long-term goal for the planet is. And so in the end, it is going to blow up in their face. In the end, it is going to be a failure. In the end, it is going to make them look bad. In the end, it is going to turn people against the renewable energy project. It already has. That's why climate change is almost a dead issue right now. It is very low on the scale of importance for a lot of people. Not saying all people, for a lot of people. Let's see. Let's keep going. Yeah, along with failed, renewable energy projects, we have nuclear power being touted as a renewable energy source, which is absolutely, completely ridiculous and ignorant. And I'm sure there's part of the narrative shaping is trying to get people to to think that nuclear isn't as, nukes aren't real, nuclear power isn't dangerous, and it's all good. The narrative has been twisted 360 degrees from what it once was. But we've already talked about this, and we knew this is happening. But Meta is going to revive an old nuclear power plant. And I think this has already been in the works. Meta inked a deal to help keep an aging nuclear power plant alive for another 20 years. Great. How many safety regulations did they have to skirt in order to do that? Skirt. Right. This thing was probably already slated for decommissioning. It's probably not meeting safety standards right now. And they are, rewriting the rules or ignoring the rules in order to keep it going. JMW says alternative or green is just as much a lie as nuclear or any kind of solution for global warming. Absolutely. Straight up and funky. An aging nuclear power plant that has been on the verge of shuttering. This is from The Verge. Since 2017 has a new lease on life after Meta agreed to support its operations for the next 20 years. Meta and energy company Constellation announced the deal today, which helps the plant expand its operations while Meta uses it to try to shrink its carbon footprint. Yeah, that's not real, y'all. You're not shrinking your carbon footprint by using nuclear power. My God. My God, the dumbosity of it all. People are getting dumber and dumber and less understanding of basic science every single day. It's awesome. So awesome. But let's read a little more. Meta and it's the latest in a flood of recent partnerships between big tech and the nuclear energy industry. Gadzoinks. And part of a larger strategy Meta has in the works to bring more nuclear reactors online that can power AI data centers. Yes. What we need is more data centers. Nuclear power. The plant called the Clinton Clean Energy Center is in Illinois and was initially slated to close in 2017 after years of financial losses. According to Constellation, a tax credit that the state established for carbon pollution-free energy allowed the plant to keep running, but only until 2027. Meta is stepping in to provide some financial security beyond that date, although it declined to disclose the amount it's spending on the deal. So it's a money loser, but they're going to keep this going. It's apparently enough money to help the plant carry out updates that will increase its energy output by 30 megawatts for a total capacity of 1.12 megawatts, or 1,121 megawatts. For comparison, the first offshore wind farm in the U.S., albeit a small operation with just 5 turbines off the coast of Rhode Island, has a 30 megawatt capacity and can generate enough electricity for 17,000 homes. Keeping the Clinton power plant open is also supposed to save 1,100 local jobs and generate enough electricity for 800,000 homes. It was first licensed in 1987, so it's definitely on the edge of its sell by date. And they applied to last year renew its license through 2047. Google and Microsoft has also seen their emissions rise with growing energy demand from AI. Meta faces pushback over plans to build its biggest data center yet in Louisiana. Oh, metawatts or megawatts? Are you talking about? I don't know, sir. Thought they were talking about megawatts. Are they talking about metawatts or megawatts? Metawatts. I gotcha. It's all coming together in my brain now. Metawatts. I was like, what is a metawatt? Somebody, oh. Click, click, blang. Meta faces pushback over plans to build its biggest data center yet in Louisiana. The local utility there has proposed building out 3 new gas plants to support the data center. Is metawatts a metaphor? I don't know. Let's see. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. This is kind of weird. Elon Musk is calling out the new funding bill. Do you believe that do you believe this is real? Is Musk calling out the new spending bill a real thing? Or is he just PR? Is he just propping himself up as the anti guy? I think that's what's happening. Right? Yeah, I think so, Denver. I agree with you. I think it's all we're taking a trip to Bullshit Island is what's happening. And unfortunately, it's not a 3-hour tour. This is, let's see, where are we? Is it here? Come on, people. Here's Elon Musk saying, I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending. I mean, he sounds like, what, Thomas Massie? You know, sounds like the lone voice, maybe Bernie Sanders on any given Sunday. Right? Sounds like the, you know, what's the movie? Mr. Tibbs or Mr. Pibbs or somebody goes to Washington. I don't know. I forget the name of the movie. Somebody will remind me. You know which one I'm talking about. You know, this is him standing up, you know, if he were an elected official, which he is not, standing up at the podium. This is pure pork filled. I won't take this. Mr. Smith goes to Washington. Thank you. That's who I was talking about. That's who I was trying to think of. With old Jimmy Stewart. Well, I reckon I don't know what it means. Yeah, this is, you know, some acting. Text is acting. Shame on those who voted for it. And you know you did wrong. You know it. Really? 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 Oh, that's funny. Somebody posts a Thomas Massie meme. Here's Thomas Massie. Yes, you're all wrong, you Republicans. You know, they take turns. Oh, I love me some Mr. Pibb. That's true. JMW, for sure. I think I was mixing up my movies. Or my soda fountain drinks. I don't know. Don't mind me. I'm mostly firing on all cylinders. Maybe I need a nice cold Mr. Pibb after a jog in the morning. Goes down smooth. Somebody replaced my Mr. Pibb with coffee. Delicious coffee. Why did you do it? Yeah, so he's like all up in arms, and this is not Apple, Tesla, or even Nvidia. It's the U.S. national debt. I mean, he's acting, even though he's saying true things, right? Just like, are you sure we lost audio? Can anybody confirm that we lost audio? Anybody let me know that we lost audio? Anybody else, please? I can fix it. Okay. Sorry, George, I think that's on your end. Okay. But thanks for the heads up. Yeah, so, and this bill is set to raise the national debt even further. If somebody thought that, Trump was here to save us from the debt cliff, to rein in the fiscal irresponsibility, to put a, cap on the spending. No. Let's see. I think it's set to increase the debt by $5 trillion at least. Something in those, something in that ballpark. Let's see. House reconciliation bill would massively increase near-term deficit. This says 3.3 trillion, including interest, or 5.2 trillion if its temporary provisions are made permanent, and they're going to be permanent. They're not going to be temporary. No, sir. Not unless we get a fiscally responsible Republican and wait. Okay. So it's up, it's going up, and it's going to keep on going up, up and away until something pops. I don't know where or when or what is it. When is it going to pop? What's the deal? When I stream to Rumble, it cuts my, it cuts the amount of views that they say that I'm getting. Is there something weird about streaming to Rumble? I'm not really sure. I'm just curious because last couple of days I've streamed to just X and Telegram, and it seemed like I had way more viewers on YouTube, or at least they were telling me I was having more viewers, and also on X. And today I'm streaming to Rumble, and it's back down to the usual. They tell me nobody's watching your show. It's completely unpopular. I don't know. It's really hard to tell what's going on. Help. Massey predicted 20 trillion over the next 10 years. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Is there a bandwidth feud between Rumble and YouTube? I don't know. I can't tell. Well, no matter what happens, Palantir is going to be all up in the government, and there's going to be no regulating it, no stopping it, unless somebody does something else. We already covered this, but reiterating the 10-year ban on any state regulating AI or Trump's big beautiful bill bans all 50 states from regulating AI for 10 years. Centralizes control at the federal level and integrates AI systems into key federal agencies. We've already covered that. We covered this a week ago, 2 weeks ago. But it's going in and it's going through. Denver says Alex Karp backed Kamala in the election, so Trump won. We got Palantir technocracy. Had Kamala won, we'd have gotten a Palantir technocracy. Absolutely. It really didn't matter who you voted for. Biden, Kamala, Trump, Trump, Vance. It really didn't matter. They're both on the same payroll, the same company. If you didn't know that. And, if you really just watch the Democrats, they were trying to lose. they were making sure that Trump won. They were like, here you go. Oh, we keep fumbling the ball. I don't know what's happening to us. Democrats are like, oh man, we're just making the biggest mistakes. I don't know what is going on. We're just handing this win to Trump. Like, here you go. Like they just, if you look at the administration, what they were doing and what they did, 6 months prior to the election, if you looked at that from any other year, from any other perspective, you would have been like, these are the dumbest bunch of people ever to have a political party, to try and run like a national political party. So the conclusion by most is that they were trying to lose, and that's what they did. Why were they trying to lose? Because they all work for the same team, and they all have the same goals, and they all want everybody to believe that it was a hard-won battle between dipshit A and dipshit B. I don't know. These are the best and the brightest that we can give you. Or are they just the most malleable puppets? The most bouncy little puppets on a stage that can be bounced around and made to do what, talk this way, walk this way, say these things, sign this bill, do this thing. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. Yeah. Steph C says, very few people actually want a fiscally conservative economy. We had an actual fiscally conservative economy climate. If we had a fiscally conservative economy, climate change would not be so bad. Pollution would not be so bad. Probably. Probably. I mean, if individual people were fiscally conservative, we'd probably be in a better shape. Right? That's a problem with rich people. Right? Especially rich people talking about climate change. They're not fiscally conservative. They buy anything and everything their heart's desires. They burn every possible resource. They burn it up. They suck it up. They drink it up. They drink up your milkshake. They drink up everybody's milkshake. There are a tiny number of good examples of people that have a lot of money and don't spend it all because they have to, because they have a lot of money, right? There are very few examples of those people. They're out there. That's why the best thing you could do for climate change is have a maximum wage. If you capped everybody, the maximum wage at like $200,000, done, son. If you capped, yeah. If you capped, corporate spending at a certain amount, I mean, that'll never happen, but antithetical to a growth-only economy. But that's a different subject. Here's a 7Cs calling out Palantir getting all butthurt about the New York Times article. He says this is the biggest lie you'll see on the platform all day. I guess the New York Times recently called out Palantir and the danger that it might pose to have Palantir, AI software running in every agency of the government. Palantir says, we never collect data to unlawfully surveil Americans, and our Foundry platform employs granular security protections. All right, they use the word granular. That means it's working. If the facts were on its side, the New York Times would not have needed to twist the truth. Someone asked if the company had a legal immunity from transparency. To which Grok said, Palantir as a defense contractor has limited transparency due to classified work, but isn't fully immune. You have to file a FOIA request. But yeah. Palantir's claim of no unlawful surveillance is false. If its claim is false, it could face FTC fines. Yeah. Are you sure that's going to be? And remember this video from Alex Karp saying that their mission is to scare the enemies and on occasion kill them. Somebody says Alex Karp's job is to kill Americans who don't want to be ruled by Alex Karp's shithole foreign country. Woo. Spicy. This isn't fiction. This isn't satire. This is the guy Trump is working with to build a federal database with your tax records, medical info, immigration status, and more. Palantir isn't a company anymore. It's a digital weapon of the authoritarian right. Trump, Thiel, Karp, welcome to the monopoly deep state. And here's a refresher.
Scare enemies and on occasion kill them.
And on occasion kill them.
Here to disrupt and make the institutions we partner with the very best in the world, and when it's necessary to scare enemies and on occasion kill them.
Wow. Huge tariffs on luxury items may not be a bad idea. Well, yeah. I mean, it's not a bad idea. It doesn't mean that people won't pay them. But if you limit how much money somebody has to throw around, well, that's all the money they have to throw around, right? It's a finite amount. If you cap wages at $200,000, you know, it's plenty of money to live on. Even in Los Angeles, plenty of money. Yeah, let's be generous and call it $500,000. I don't know. Still, at $500,000, you know, you can't really get that second private jet or your sixth yacht. Probably can't get any of that stuff. But that is antithetical to the capitalist system, which is like buy everything you want to buy and have it all. Which is fun, but unnecessary. And in the end, destructive as all hell. Let's see. Ooh, here's more on Palantir. Palantir announces a new distinguished members to the Federal Advisory Board. Deborah Birx, remember her? General Perna. He was all up in Operation Warp Speed. Huh. Wow. And Mr. Greg Simon, he was the former executive director of the White House Cancer Moonshot Task Force and Biden Cancer Initiative. Okay. So it's a who's who of government insiders on the Palantir Advisory Board. Great. Great. And Aaron Day calling out, oh man, we have so much more to cover, and I'm not even, we're almost at the end of our time. Aaron Day is calling, all of this stuff is what people have been warning against. And I'm going to go back to my ultra skeptical, paranoid, once in a while, ultra scary stance of even the people who are warning you might be there to warn you. It's right. Might be there to disclose. Sometimes I wonder. Anyways. The Senate is weighing whether to pass the Bipartisan Genius Act this week. Nice job, Genius. As amendment negotiations continue and a vote could come before June 9th. Someone asked Grok, is the Genius Act the gateway to CBDC? The Genius Act is dealing with the rules for crypto. And I don't know if the Genius Act is the same as the stablecoin bill. Is it one and the same? I'm not sure. It says that this act would cement U.S. leadership in the $250 billion stablecoin market, so I guess it is, positioning the U.S. as a leader in developing cryptocurrency regulatory framework. Global competition, such as the EU, UK, and Japan, are currently advancing crypto regulations. Delaying the Genius Act risks U.S. innovation lagging behind. The timing is crucial in the modern day gold rush. Gold rush. Gold rush. But Aaron Day has long been calling out, what the hell? Just this kind of thing. Warning that this is all kind of an end run around Okay, a couple things we really got to get to that are important. Thanks, guys, for hanging out and watching. Appreciate you. Word to your mother's uncle. If you like the show, if you want to support the show, and you want to keep the show on the air and keep it coming to you for free, I am, I'm not trying to charge anybody for the show. That's why I'm not doing my show on Rockfin anymore, because they eliminated the ability for us to stream free content to people. I don't really know why. I mean, good job, guys. Way to kill your business if that's what you're trying to do. I'm not really sure, but they're doing that. They're doing them. We're doing us. And if you want to support the show, there's lots of ways to do it in the description box of whatever channel you're watching on. There is a link tree on X if you're watching on X. And many of you support the show on a regular basis. You know who you are, and I appreciate you. All right, a couple of things really need to talk about. This is a pretty awesome video of people supposedly, people kicking ice out of their neighborhood in San Diego. If we could see it. Here we go.
Fucking shame! Shame! Shame!
I hope this is real.
Shame! 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 Back up! Yeah, back up! Back up! Shame! 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 Back up! Yeah, back up! That's right! That's right! Back the fuck up! Back up! You guys are fucking Nazis! Get the fuck up!
Nice.
Fucking cowards! Go! Yeah, get the fuck out! Get the fuck out!
Nice. Nicely done, people of San Diego.
Cowards! Cowards!
This is exactly what needs to happen in Israel too. Just, regular people need to swarm up on these motherfuckers and just shame the shit out of them and back them up, right? We need like a 1 million man march in Israel, and we need to just swoop through. Millions of people just need to swoop through and go, nope, gone, out. Maybe we should do this in DC too. Gone, out. Gone. All of you gone. Out. But nice job. Nice job. Way to go. I realized at some point they could turn their guns on and start shooting people, but there are some PR nightmares that they don't need at this moment. Anyways, inspiring. This is interesting because I just shared something about Moderna. Remember I shared something about Moderna having their contract canceled? And again, that was just more fake news stories to make people go like, yeah, look at them go. Look at Maha go. Right? So supposedly they canceled this Moderna contract for mRNA, but hey, yeah, it was a bird flu contract. But hey, there's a different vaccine that's getting approval. And who's the vaccine made by? Moderna. So Moderpa. If you believe that story and you thought things were really changing for the better, I don't know. You got to really stay on your toes here. Look at the etymology of, so they are approved. Hold on, I want to get the original. This is not what I'm showing first here. The FDA just approved NextSpike, which is Moderna's new COVID shot called NextSpike. That's how they put it in you. They spike it in your neck. Sorry. You want some neck spike? Ah. Anyways, here's the catch. They never tested it against a placebo. They tested it against another COVID shot. Why? Because ethics. Here's what they don't want you to notice. It was just greenlit by the FDA right on the heels of supposedly having another mRNA bird flu contract canceled, but who cares? No, nobody's really paying attention. So we'll just quick approve the next spike. Moderna's new vaccine next spike was just greenlit by the FDA on May 31st for adults 65 plus, of course, and ages 12 to 64 with risk factors, of course. So for the most vulnerable, we're going to give this untested vaccine to people, and that'll work out fine. According to the FDA, the approval is based on a phase 3 trial, 11,400 participants, but they didn't test it against saline. They tested it against Spikevax, their other COVID shot. Yes, really. Great. So, yeah. Moderna's press release boasts, sorry, I'm not showing you this. Next spike was non-inferior to Spikevax in preventing COVID-19 with a 9.3% higher relative vaccine efficacy. Let's be real. What they're saying is our new mRNA shot is about as mediocre as the old one. But let's look at this. This is interesting. If you look at the etymology of Moderna's new poison neck spike, they are rubbing it in our face. This is according to Champagne Joshi. What does nex mean in Latin? The Latin word nex means death or slaughter, often with a connotation of violent or unnatural death, such as murder or execution. It is related to the verb necare or necare, which means to kill or to put to death. So there's that. There is that, I guess. So, if you're really trying to find out what words mean and what they're trying to tell you, so, all right, I'm trying to get to the end here, guys. And quickly, interesting side note around vaccines in general. Apparently, Japan at one time stopped vaccinating kids under 2 or babies, basically. And what happened? SIDS, or sudden infant death syndrome, disappeared, which is what they have. Many people have concluded in the past, but nobody seems to be able to take any action on it because, God forbid, you actually infer or intone that vaccinating babies is not really a great thing to do. So let's listen to Pierre Corey.
This actually happened in Japan. I think this is really interesting because you look at how these two countries behave towards vaccines and vaccine safety. And Japan has done really some actions which are not followed by a lot of the other Western advanced health economies. But when they noticed this rash of deaths in the 70s, they saw what they did is they raised the age of vaccination to 2 years old. Guess what happened? When they did that, infant deaths disappeared. You know, so you have a country who noticed the signal, did something about it, and actually solved the problem. Neonatal mortality decreased.
Okay.
This actually happened in Japan.
Creative experiments. I don't think that's true. In fact, the president of Brazil was threatening to jail people if they did not get vaccinated for COVID. So I don't know how they could not have COVID vaccines. I don't know. I don't know about that one. You might want to check that one. The president would not be threatening to send people to jail for not getting a COVID vaccine if they didn't have COVID vaccines. So when I was talking about maybe some people are trying, I guess, I don't know if this is a real attempt or if this is more stagecraft. I'm not really sure. Apparently there's a boat of famous people going to Gaza to get in the way of what's going on there. I don't know. I don't know whether to believe this or not.
Okay, hi, I'm Liam, Yasmin, Tiago. If you look in the background, beautiful boat. These beautiful people are going to be going to break the siege in Gaza. These are our coordinators, and if I may use it, they won't use the word our heroes. Please, tell them why you're here.
Hi, my name is Yasmin. I'm from Germany. I'm a German citizen, and I feel it's my duty to be here because Germany is the second largest weapon supplier to this genocide. For 19 months they have been supplying weapons over weapons. They have not stopped aiding and abetting the genocide. And I'm here on the Madeleine to sail to Gaza to deliver the much needed aid because for 3 months we have been seeing nothing but destruction. I mean 19 months of destruction, but 3 months we have been seeing starvation. And the world is supporting that. Instead of stopping the genocide, instead of upholding humanity and international law, they're stepping on it with their feet. And that is why we are here. And we hope we can get to Gaza to deliver this aid and to deliver hope and to tell the Palestinians that they are not forgotten, that we are in solidarity with them, with an action.
It's very important that you share this action, not because of us, but we are doing this in solidarity with the Palestinian people. We are doing this to break the siege, to create a people's humanitarian corridor. So our boat is very small. We're carrying food, aid, medicine, we are carrying crutches, we are carrying prosthetics for amputated children, we are carrying water filters. It's a drop in the ocean for the necessities of the Palestinian people in Gaza, living 8 decades of genocide and ethnic cleansing. But it's an ocean that will get bigger with every action, with you going to demonstrations, with you doing boycotts, with you disrupting arm factories, with you breaking the media blockade, producing content to break the boycott of social media as well. We're all together in the same struggle. Thank you so much.
The international community is breaking international law. That's why we're here. We're doing the job that they're supposed to do. Please follow us, watch our progress, and make sure no harm comes to these beautiful people's heads.
Thank you so much, Lee. We are together.
All right, so they are doing, they're trying to do what the international community is supposed to be doing, and at least trying to throw their bodies in the way. So whether this is real or not, I agree with the message. I agree with the action. And Godspeed to them. The problem is that Israel is the Israelis are insane as far as the military in the country go, or the people running the country. So it wouldn't surprise me if they actually open fire on them or bomb them or try to get them, try to do harm to them. It wouldn't surprise me. But until more people, until this becomes a wave, and not just a few people on boats trying to go over there. It needs to become a wave, a giant wave of people. And hopefully maybe some other nations or smaller nations trying to get in there to stop this, because this is illegal. This is an illegal, what they're doing is illegal. It's an illegal war. It's not a war. It's an illegal massacre. It's a war crime. And, you know, somehow, somewhere, you know, some way it's got to be stopped. And apparently Greta Thunberg is part of this flotilla. And, you know, I know people dislike her or think she's also an actor. I don't know if this raises my skepticism or lessens it. I'm not sure. But she's part of this, and apparently backers of Israel are advocating the assassination of Greta Thunberg. Amazon Piss Jug says, at what point does the world put a stop to this sociopathic regime? Which is a question so many people are asking. Many people are asking this question, like, how do we stop this? How do we end this? It won't be stopped until people stop it, says one commenter. I don't know. But, you know, good on Greta Thunberg, good on these people for trying to do something. Let's see. I'm going to have to leave it there. I have more to cover today, but I'm going to have to leave over some things for tomorrow. So I'm going to have to sign off today. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Do appreciate you. I don't know if I have anybody to thank as of this moment. Not sure. But wherever you're watching, please, if you... I did want to thank the people of Patreon, the Patreon supporters. Thank you. I do get those. I get paid out like at the end of the month. So to all the people that are supporting on Patreon, I appreciate you. Thank you. And I'll see you tomorrow at the regular time of 12 p.m. Pacific. JMW says, at what point do we end this fascist regime? At what all of life says about humans. Ding, ding, ding. Anyways. Salt Liquor says, it's hard to save the fascists from other fascists in a world run by fascists. What about the fashionably fascist? In fashion fascists. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you.
you